I didn't see you there. I was just reading this classical book. All my friends are still dead. You're here to join me on what's going to be an amazing journey. So there we go. Enough of the jokes. The reason I chose this game was a very simple fact. The first time I played it, it was way too early in the morning, and I was woo. But then the next time I played it properly, and it was just amazing. And I was very glad my friend showed me this game, and I just think that everybody experiences it in a different way. And after this review, I think that I hope that we'll get to see what it's all about. I hope that we've all bring something different to the table. So this is Journey. # Don't Stop Believing.
Welcome back to another Player2 Video Games Club. I'm your host, Paul James, and I'm joined again by Jay Parnas and Damo Camilleri. This month, Damo, it was your game, so go for it.
Oh, you are really bad at passing the bat.
Time for me to be the host.
Keeping you on the hot, that's all.
This month is Damo's game.
Be snappy.
So guys, Journey. Let's say the first time I played this, it was...
Let's be clear, no one knew about this because you didn't divulge last episode. Before the end of this episode, James...
I led to it in the tweets.
You also
I said I was going to lead you on a bit of a journey. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Shit. Alright.
Did he say that?
I don't fucking know. I don't check Twitter.
I'm talking about... Did you
I didn't say it in person. I said it on Twitter.
Ah, okay.
Remember I was still debating what I was going to play.
Yes, you were.
Right, I've changed.
You're doing that massive.
Changed it completely.
So, as you said, journey.
Journey. When I first played this, it was about 3 a.m. in the morning. And
as opposed to 3 a.m.
Oh no, it was about 4:30 a.m. And I hallucinated while playing.
Very early.
I wasn't on drugs. I was just so tired that I was in and out of sleep. And so I actually...
Oh, you saw him.
I actually pictured myself in the game, and I was leading a horse to this oasis. And then I said to my mate, I'm like, why is there a horse in this game? And how do I make it drink? And he's like, go to bed. And I'm like, fine. And so the next morning I woke up. And I played it in one sitting. And from start to finish...
Journey was amazing.
Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth. And so my first question for you both is, when you first played this game, did you have any idea what the fuck you were doing?
Yes.
Because you've only recently played it for the first time, because you...
I knew nothing about the game. I've never seen it. I've never seen the game before in my life. Other than a few random cosplayers at
doesn't give
which
away
just
anything.
gives me nothing.
Yes, but that was because just the way they've done the camera work, tilted the cameras, what little they'd done indicated, okay, there's a mountain over there.
Walk that direction.
I need to get to it.
Yes. Did you, when you played it, was there any other players to interact with? Did you see any other, people on their journey?
So when I played
on their journey, did you think to go over and pick them up or something like that? Or
is this a joke that I'm missing? Is this...
No, it's just the way you pronounced it originally, so now I'm just running with it.
Cool.
So, I'm not talking about Fire Emblem, so be grateful. So, when I originally played it on PS3, I must have come across 10 people, I reckon, along the way. 10 different people, which I then discovered who they were when I got to the credits. And no, didn't bother, didn't think to beat them up or anything like that. But by the time I bumped into someone, I understood that I had no ability to do anything like that, regardless. So I don't think it was even something that probably crossed my mind.
Okay.
So, I was more thinking about how I might be able to communicate.
Yeah.
Given that all I had was one little button that allowed me to...
Speech balloon.
Yeah. And everyone kind of had the unique little symbol that identified them as being them, but... No, I didn't think to beat them up.
I didn't realise was that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I want to beat them up? Is that
when I first
violence, because that's
when I first entered the game, I had no idea what I was doing.
Just to confirm, what was the original? What was the question you were looking at?
Did you find any other players and what
did I find others? 2.
Was it what did you think to do? Did you think to go over and
one of them passed me by and I never saw them again, and the other one was probably the only I don't want to set the scene, but it was one of the main interesting points of the game. When that other person came along, and there weren't many interesting points of the game, but that was heavily one of them, because we had this weird, like, we organically had an innate sense of what the other one wanted to do, and we ended up jumping up to help, like, helping each other levitate to the top of the roof and, like, semi-break the game a little bit. Like, we got up to, it was one of these areas where there was, like, these big statues, and we bumped into each other, and he jumped, and I, like, jumped into him, which allowed him to jump further, and through that, like, organic action, we then sort of bumped into each other and sort of kept, like, it was like one hit, like...
Yeah,
so,
because
like,
if you were side by side with a person, you'd help extend or maintain the person's scarf length, and that'd allow you to...
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I don't know, I was calling it, like, scarf power. But, basically, yeah, like... And so basically we were just, like, levitating up. If you remember when we did Thomas Was Alone, that kind of where you've got the two characters that walk on each other, and they can move from side to side. It was literally that, except vertically, and I was like, because that came out of nowhere. There was no, like, honking or anything with, like, the little speech bubble. It just sort of organically happened, and it was the thing that we sort of did.
Yep.
And, like, and we eventually got to the point that we were able to move sort of forward and do it. It was only, like, about 2 to 5 minutes or something that we were, like, pissing about with this sort of thing. It was like one of us would jump up high, and, like, while we were jumping up high, we were holding the circle button, which would, like, sort of charge up the little speech bubble, because your speech bubble would also regenerate their power.
Yeah.
And so basically we'd be able to go kind of like this, like, upwards and diagonally, and fly up places you're not really supposed to be. And to its credit, the game didn't, like, bug out or anything like that. It was like you were sort of a little bit through some of the environments at parts, but not, like, the whole way through. It was just like your head was poking through the ceiling. But again, probably wasn't intended for you to be up there, so I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, but that was it. Like, for me, maybe because it was so far past its, like, release window, I was even surprised I came across anyone.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, look, my second playthrough that was the day before recording for the sake of this. I still bumped into what would have been half a dozen people, I reckon.
So my credits said that I bumped into 6 people. I didn't.
Yeah.
So they may have been...
They may have been in the same vicinity. They might have been just leaving as you arrived or something.
Yeah.
Like there could be any number of combinations of that.
Yeah.
I know I bumped into half a dozen people because I worked with half a dozen people.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the only thing. And I was actually pretty surprised by how easy it was for that organic thing to transpire. But other than that, yeah, it was a little barren for me, unfortunately, which is sad. It might have just been a combination of, the fact that it is, kind of the game's getting a little on now in terms of its original release window. Not to mention that I was playing it at maybe, like, 11 o'clock at night or something like that. So that may not be the ideal time for whoever.
Did you also start seeing all the same things he did? It was starting to get pretty late at that point.
No, mate. No, I'm not a child.
It was fucked. It was mentally, like... Because, it was a big game. It was a big day for me. Like, we'd played a heap of games, and I was just at that point. I was at that point where I wanted to go to bed, and so
how much Red Dead Redemption did you play that day? Maybe that's
none.
Maybe that's where you're leading the horse to water from.
No, it was just Oasis, desert.
Okay, but where did you get the horse from?
I don't know where the horse... Maybe the horse was already there. Okay? It's a hallucination. Alright. So...
My bad.
So, was there any moment... Oh, wait. I suppose I should fucking say... Answer my own question. My first interaction was when I, played the game awake.
And you saw lots of pink elephants.
I saw this person, and my first instinct was to go over and, like... I thought if you jumped on them or something, you might get credits or so, because I have no idea what the game was.
Because we know what.
And then,
it
was just like, nothing. I'm like, oh, okay, obviously, there's a little bit of interaction between people. And, like, there's no gamer tag there or anything like that, so it was really strange. But then, like, the really funny thing was, I started watching a YouTuber, playing it, and he was like, he did the exact same thing as me, and it's like watching someone else do it. It's like it became actually frustrating. It's like, no, you idiot! That's not how the game works. What are you doing? You can't kill them. And it was like, yeah, no, the innocence is still there in people. All right, second question. What did you think of the elements of the game?
Elements of the game.
Define elements.
Well, the things that make up the game.
Okay.
The controls, the music, the graphics. We'll leave the story out of it for now. So the skeleton of the game, like really the things that built up the game. So like not gameplay, and not story.
Just the world that you're in.
Like, the world you're in, the music, the character design.
The music's gorgeous. I mean, if you've gone and watched one of our previous patched episodes, then you'll see us talk about how Journey was nominated for a number of different awards for its score. Like that was awesome.
Yes.
And that's not even the right word I should be using for something like that, but it was awesome.
Graphically, there were some parts of the game that were stunning.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
some of the sand.
Dig through some of my recent tweets when you get back to it. Some of the
sand. Did you play it? Was this the first time you played it on the PS4?
No, I played a PS3 launch because I did a.
Was this the first time you played a PS4?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you just said PS3.
I originally played it on the PS3 when it came out, doing a review for the old site that I used to write for. Rest in peace. And
it wasn't Rest in Peace.
It wasn't called Rest in Peace.
No, it wasn't. So good site name, mate.
Not bad.
So,
Better album.
And I gave that a 10 out of 10. It was one. I had no ifs, buts, or maybes about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I gave it a 10 out of 10.
I can see why.
So it's certainly up in that sort of window. Anyway.
How about we start talking more about the game and not you like
how I gushed over there?
Yeah.
No, but so I was
game.
leading back to now how even how it's kind of translated to now the modern systems and all that sort of.
Does it? How much different does it look?
Oh, it's pretty much identical.
Okay, so it doesn't get a HD bump at all.
It shouldn't. The game was already HD.
But you know what I mean.
No, I know what you get. No,
come on, they do.
Like they got this thing ready for PS4's launch, pretty much. In fact, yeah, I think it was a launch title.
The PS3 launch or PS4?
PS4. So that bump.
You keep saying PS3.
Sorry. Came out for PS3. It then was a launch for PS4 as well, which is a couple of years after it had come out.
Yeah.
Initially, but I think from what I could tell, just playing it again last night, it seemed to be the same experience. But
fair enough.
I haven't done a side by side. So.
No, that's fine. I'm just curious because I've not seen it run on the PS3.
But I thought the game was gorgeous though. Like there was some oranges
sand
there, and it went there's that one segment where you're kind of surfing essentially down the sand for what's a somewhat extended period. And the camera swings side on, and you've just got this sunset and just this orange glow pouring through, and you're sliding down against it. And I was a bit too late to originally take the screenshot. The one you saw and the one you'll see if you dig through my Twitter was just moments after that. And you're kind of standing there, and the sun's beaming straight through, and it looked gorgeous. And then you go up to the top of the mountain, and it's starting to snow and all that, and it looks stunning.
Yes. I was a big fan of the purple sand that looks like it's made up of 55% Goldschlager. It's just like gold flecks the whole way through it. It's that looked pretty amazing. And that particular sand surfing scene was one of my other favorite parts purely because it allowed me to yell out SSX tricky and also pretty smooth flying fox, which for me because you can go through the gates. Anyway, those are very old video game references that made me very happy. Not exactly what the game is aiming for, but it was my journey, so whatever. I enjoyed it the way I wanted to enjoy it. I actually, touching on that, I was actually a little disappointed there wasn't more of that sand surfing, or that it was a little bit more difficult to do that to get from place to place, because I actually found that quite fun. Whereas I found the movement a little slow. But we'll talk about the gameplay in a bit, but the surfing allowed for that sort of big sort of camera pans and all that sort of stuff, which I thought was what made some of those scenes stand out more than some of the other parts of the game. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of like visually, I also think that how sort of playing the character that you play as is probably works well.
Yeah.
In contrast to some of the really nice sort of graphics that you've got for some of the sand. Even the deformation of the sand, the actual sand itself, graphically is real nice. Like if you, I don't know how like sort of specifically you're looking for it, but when you do use that little speech bubble, when you use it past a certain point, it gets really quite large. You actually see it deform the sand around it, yeah, which is quite nice as well. So yeah,
Awesome.
a really really nice looking game.
Yeah, no, I'll hats off to both of you for that. That's true. Like it is. It's beautifully looking, stunning game. Just the soundtrack too. It's just takes you away. It's just, and as you said, you had your own journey, and that was almost going to be my closing line. But as you play this game, like it is your own journey. Like I think that's what I really loved about this game, was that everybody plays it differently and does things, even though it's like a very one-track kind of game. Everybody has something different to take from what they played, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, then tweet me.
One of the things that actually frustrated me a bit about the game, both times, is not really a problem with the game so much per se, is more actually an issue with PlayStation. The fact that, I mean, people who've watched any of our shows in the past know that I love collecting trophies.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke the immersion significantly when I would do something that warranted the trophy, and I'm coasting down the sands or doing whatever it is, helping out with someone to try and get to this point, and all of a sudden, bing, in the top corner, kill that, do it. Just it's easy enough for developers to time all these things, like you've done this, tick, 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 at the end, here you go, pop, 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 and all your trophies and that sort of thing, and that would have been far better because it would not have broken that immersion for me. That was one thing it's the only thing I've been disappointed about with the game. It was a concern I'd had the first time around, and then, almost 5 years on, playing it again last night, still bothers me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough.
What about the controls? You both didn't touch on the controls.
Oh, you said to leave that
it's
to later.
So did say gameplay.
Did I? No, you said
game-
gameplay. Like
I said leave gameplay and story.
Game controls really well. Polished.
Yeah.
Fluid movement. Like there's little exploits you can take advantage of, like you were talking about before. But
yeah,
and it's floaty, but it's intended to be so.
Yeah, no, there was no issue with that. I didn't really like the movement, to be completely honest with you. That's sort of where the positives stop for me, I'm afraid. It just felt kind of a little slow. Like
that does not represent the views or opinions of anybody else in this entire room.
Again, look, I'm not trying to be a downer or anything like that. It just
Debbie Downer here. Go on.
Let me go take my joy. It was just like there were parts where, because of how far apart, because there was such little interaction with other people, getting around was very slow.
Yeah.
Like the plodding along, not fun. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like plodding along, like uphill, where you walk even slower, and you've got like about this much cloth on your back, and it's about 10 miles between scarves. Even if you like open them up and like let them free and all that sort of stuff, I couldn't. Like that for me, that broke the immersion for me, because it's just like, oh, is there any way I can like exploit this game to walk faster? And it turns out that there kind of is, which I'm not sure if you're aware. When the wind is actually blowing, you can actually surf on flat ground.
Yeah.
You can catch the wind, which is kind of cool. I thought that would be kind of cool. Actually made me want more of it. I would have liked more of that, because I felt like that was really nice movement, and your character did feel, because your character felt floaty. It would have been really cool for you to be kind of like a sand dune surfer, like moving from place to place. Now, whether canonically that fits into the story, I mean, you're wearing a big billowy thing. Like, who cares? Like, for me, it would have been much more fun, sort of surfing from sand dune to sand dune and being as floaty on the ground as you were in the air. But just sort of the little plodding along was
too slow.
It was just it was too slow, and it was like there were some parts where there was no issue with stuff being there for me to charge my scarf power or whatever you guys want to call it. And that was fun because I was like floating around the environment. That was cool, like with the weird sort of jellyfish scarves and the manta ray scarves or whatever they were supposed to be, and the scarf pillars and all that sort of stuff. Like when I was able to move freely like that, it felt much better. But when that was taken away, it was kind of drab in that sense. And again, I know there's not a popular opinion. I know how well this game's reviewed. I know how much it's revered. But for me, it's like those were things that kind of
detracted a bit.
They did, yeah. Same with how linear it was. I didn't realize how really enclosed you are to go in one particular direction because it presents the world so open. I figured that there would be some kind of like a little sort of orb that you're sort of around, and it's sort of like you decide to casually trail off into the desert, catch some of the wind and sort of surf off to the desert, and then maybe it would just loop you back around. You know what I mean? Like
you
sort of
tids you and it just pushes you straight back
yeah.
down.
You just know it. I don't know how far you tried to walk off, but basically you just hit wind, and the wind just knocks you on your ass, and you're sort of stuck at this sort of wind wall where it's like, oh, I guess I'm not going any further in that direction. Well, that's unfortunate. And then you sort of have to turn around and like plod all the way back, which I felt was kind of a missed opportunity. It would have been nice to actually feel like I was like journeying through things, like because when I again heard the name, maybe it was just how I built it up in my mind, but because I heard a lot of people saying, oh, there's all this sort of exploration of having your own journey and all that sort of stuff. I felt like even if the areas it was like faked big, would have been a really good way to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was just like, if I wanted to go out and it would have been really cool if there was like little bits of ruins littered here and there, maybe a little bit of like the flying, little flying scarps here and there, just to help you charge up your power and just make it this little sort of, okay, I get back to the thing I need to be. This is the world that I'm in. But I just felt like I was being ushered along really fast. Like I would get up to this little bit where it's like, hey, here's a quick cutscene. Now, in the next area you go. There you go. It's like, oh, but... Because that was the thing. In my first playthrough, I followed the path.
Yeah.
And then when I went to play it back again, that's when I realised, oh, this is a really tight corridor that I'm running here. Which sort of broke some of that for me, I guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. That wait, what was that even? Well, that was just controls.
That was in terms of gameplay. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just talking about controls. I like when I was talking to game developers who were coming out of Quantum College in Melbourne, I was like, "So what are your thoughts on Journey?" And this is pretty recent after it came out. Their words were, it's like how to build a game. Like that it was just they said it's such a game of games because it's like no tutorial, no nothing, just straight in, but you know what to do. You just had this feeling of guidance thing. And, looking at Mega Man X or the Mega Man games entirely, that's exactly how they kind of flow as well. And I feel that they did a really good job of that, not holding your hand, but like guiding you in a correct pathway. Now, I got super protective about my scarf. The more pieces I collected, the bigger it got. Like, I was like very determined that I was not going to lose it.
Did you get taken out at some point by the giant?
Don't we all get
winged?
Don't you all get taken out when you get to the snow? No?
No, don't have to.
Oh, God damn it!
I got
There's those little ruined bits you can kind of walk in, you just hide under that.
Yeah, I know,
It's
but
no
like,
escape,
but I just thought it just happened.
No, I tried that. They smashed through that ruin. They got me at the snow.
I didn't have
in my
Whereas
first
the guy I was
playthrough.
with last night walked out, bang, gone. I stood in my little thing, I was fine.
Yeah, it might have been a decoy.
Sucked in.
Because they sort of bail once they get scarf, they kind of bail. They don't get you again.
That's it.
So
Like,
for me,
game of one over.
losing my scarf cut me so deep, and I refused.
You definitely
got
can't
me.
get through because there's a trophy at the end
for having a lot.
Oh, if you get all the pieces of scarf, and the next playthrough you do, you're in a white cloth, and you have unlimited, the unlimited scarf power.
What?
Yeah.
That would have made the control maybe a little bit better for me. That would have been really nice.
So were you attached to your scarf? Were you?
I tried to protect it whenever I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second time I played it through, I wanted to see if I could.
Oh, so you did
Like
multiple
cheat
playthroughs then? I suppose. So it's only a couple hours long, so-
I didn't finish it the second time because I was like, okay, well,
It's not
the
changing that much.
snow is a really like walking pace. That was like the epitome of like how slow you're walking in that game, where you're moving very slow. And yeah, it means a lot more when you're not exactly sure what was going to happen. I mean, for me, I could sort of see it wasn't like a huge surprise or reveal at the end of the game in terms of what happens. But as far as protecting the scarf, yeah, like I actually in the sort of where it's like really deep, like a deep purpley sand inside. Well, the first time you meet those giant snake things, that if you just hug the left wall, they only ever go through the middle, and they can never catch you. But in my first playthrough, I tried to protect my scarf, and I hit him on little things, and he just smashed straight through it and like destroyed part of the environment. And I'm like,
Maybe that one was a scripted spot, but I don't know.
no, it didn't seem to be. Look,
It could be like that, almost pixel perfect out, or it's spotted you just before you get there, or any number of things can happen.
Like
maybe.
I've gone through without being hit. I didn't collect all the thingo, unfortunately, in that one. But
you got it, man. Got to get all them scarf pieces.
yeah, I tried to find as many as and that was another thing. Like it would have been really nice to have some more of that sort of spread out, so that on extra playthroughs, like wanting to try and find more and more of them would have been really nice. But knowing that it was just a corridor, it's just like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't look around a corner or something like that. It would have been like more. I wanted more from that game, like more space to roam around in, especially if you get like a white cloth where you can just like fly forever. I would have been like, yeah, flying forever. That would have been awesome.
Alright, so
what else you got for us?
I don't have a lot. I mean, the game, again,
It's a short game.
It is a
isn't
chunk.
huge. If you haven't played it, again, like I will get to all that. If you haven't played it, you should check it out. It's a couple of hours long and it's fantastic. But another thing with the game, just how was your journey? We at the start were you curious-minded to what the fuck was going on?
You're going with a lot of open-ended questions that are confusing me from time to time. How was my journey?
Well, the game's called Journey. Did it not take you on a journey? Did you not feel, like, oh my gosh, like, you have no idea what's going? There's no script, there's nothing. You're just getting a couple of images happening.
I had all those sort of feelings. Like, I was, confused for a while, and then I was, plenty of times stopping to take in its beauty, and there's like, a lot of these things I spoke about before. Don't know how I could summarise the experience in kind of even a short sentence. Yeah, short answer. I mean, the last time I had to speak about the game, it was a 1,000+ word review. So I don't know how I'm going to condense that down. Next person. I think all those. It's just great. Well, I suppose all this even the sum of all its parts are amazing, but it's probably even greater than that. It's just. I don't know. I don't really know.
So it's almost left you speechless, mate.
Well,
did you feel fear when you see those big snake things?
Oh, I was intimidated by them because they're massive.
Yeah.
I was a little bit irritable that you actually picked the game because I promised myself that it was one and done after the PS3. Not because I gave it a 10. Like, it's not that I was disappointed or didn't want to play it again. Well, I didn't want to play it again. So that's my experience. That's it.
I get that, and it is.
That's my story. So it's kind of, totally different sort of level, but it's the same sort of thing I have when I play a Telltale game. It's like, okay, I've built my story here. This is my experience, and that's how I want it to stay. I've broken my own rules when it comes to Telltale games in the past. Because I'm like, nope, I want trophies now. It's on the PS4. But
whore.
Yeah. But look, that was my approach to the game. At the end of the day, I didn't object playing it again. Maybe just in that, had it been a week later, or some short proximity to when I initially played it, I would have definitely gone nowhere near it. I don't regret going back to it now because I've had, like I said, the better part of 5 years for it to kind of settle and for me to forget things, stew in my thoughts, whatever. Seeing so much else that's come out. I mean, by the time people are seeing this, Abzu, which is a game that's been developed by a few people who formerly worked for that game company, is now out on PS4.
Which game company?
That game company.
Oh, that one.
That was a whole problem trying to convey that in my review. That game company, comments actually saying, does he not know who the developers are? But anyway,
Very well played, that game company. Very well
I
played.
just would have showed it to TGC.
But yeah, look, no regrets going back to it. But it might be worth, without having played it yet, it's not out yet, but as of the time of recording, it might be worth looking at Absu, because from all the trails and all the footage they've shown, it seems to be going for the same sort of emotions and same notes and beats that they went for in Journey. But I'll be able to report to you on that next month.
How was your journey? Awesome. Look, do I have to walk away?
He's just giving the same silence that we get in the game itself.
Look, I learned a lot from Journey. I learned a lot about myself. I like mechanics-heavy games.
Oh, look, I think
that's the thing.
That's
for
the
me,
concern we'd actually both spoken about before we finally settled on Journey. Is that we think we know what we're going to get out of you with this. Because
That was my biggest debate,
And
I'm
that's-
not choosing this game.
no, look, don't do any of that. Look, I don't intend on tearing down any game. I own, like, my opinions are only my opinions.
Yes.
And again, when I say things about a game, it's purely because I want more from the game. Whether that be
ticks the boxes that you require.
yeah,
to
absolutely,
tick
yeah, for sure.
The way
I'm
you enjoy your
I'm
game.
not saying that they've not done enough as a development studio. I'm just saying they've not done the things that I
That
would
you
like
need.
from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And
like,
that's a personal taste thing.
absolutely. For me, when it comes to like what you would class as journeys, I like games that give me the freedom to explore. So having that sort of hand-holdy sort of tour of Disney World type circumstance, for me that doesn't feel like a journey. So for me, it didn't resonate as much. The story was kind of interesting in terms of watching the sort of the downfall of your people or whatever it was trying to convey. That's how I understood it. Now I'm sure because of how little is told.
Higher level themes going on.
Yeah, look, and
Why
that's how I
discuss in this video.
yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to
Because
spoil. Yeah,
But,
so I may have just.
No, that's fine. That one's no.
But I mean, there's ruins. I mean, you see that from the start. So I mean, something obviously was there that's now not. So moving on from there, like for me, having it so like cut back in terms of so I have 2 buttons and movement, and one of those buttons can only be actioned if I've got the scarf power, which is the sort of jump glidey thing. I like the mechanic in terms of being able to like jump and like charge up my little call out or whatever, the little speech bubble, whatever that's called, to draw in some of the other scarves to then get higher, and then and you can sort of combo that over time.
Yeah,
to sort of
towards the end, they're kind of structured in the way that you need.
No, not even that.
Lift
Even
yourself
earlier.
up to get in.
I did it early in the game, so there was like the little clusters of scarves. You can actually burn all your meter to get high while you're not a weed reference. You can burn your.
Not like Damo the Night when we played it.
You can basically use all your scarf energy while at the same time you're charging up your little call out.
Yeah.
So that the call out auto hits at basically where the end of your scarf is. You'll call them in. They actually give you a boost of height and also charge up your energy, and then so some of that sort of stuff was really interesting to me in terms of a movement piece. But again, for me, I'm more like mechanics heavy games. That's where
That's always been you.
yeah. That's
not critical of you, by the way.
no. That's like being able to dissect that sort of stuff and why I like that sort of stuff is always been interesting for me as well. Like why I like a game and why I don't.
Oh, so it's the same in any sort of media. So what is it that kind of draws you in? And they, you can have 2 movies or books or TV shows or whatever that are considered equally brilliant, but for totally different reasons and draw totally different crowds.
Absolutely.
So
And for me, look, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike story and I don't dislike nebulous storytelling. I mean, one of my favourite games is Killer 7. I mean, that is nebulous storytelling. Yeah, so that's the thing. So I would argue that both Journey and Killer 7 has very nebulous storytelling. Not in the same way.
No, totally different.
But one of them resonates with me and the other one resonates more with you. And on the flip side, the other one doesn't as much.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They both do a thing in a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you got no.
Yeah. So but that's the thing. So for me, in terms of my journey, and again, especially because I didn't come across that many people.
Yep.
One of them, a dude blew past me. I'm like, all right.
Have fun.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm like, cool. And then
you get that.
it was just like he like burst through. I'm like, all right, cool. And I don't know if people who have got the white cloak, do they show up as white in your game?
I don't know. I've never seen a white cloak.
So that's the thing. So he may have had that and he just burned through.
But to you just see a normal character.
That's right. So
very fast.
that may have been what it was, for all I know. And that's the thing. I didn't know about that.
It'd be pretty cool if you see him in their white cloak because you just piggyback on. Sweet, see you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and then it'd be cool like if they like guided you. They guided you to wear all the other cloak, like pieces of cloth, were to get you your own white cloak. That'd be pretty cool.
And
anybody watching this that has a white cloak, please.
And with the little like with the manta ray type scarf creatures, there's one. I think it's like the third one you release when you first come across them.
Yeah,
sort of carries you a little bit, and I think that may have been scripted. Or not, I don't know. Maybe I just like glitched it and walked onto one, and then like I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe I can control this thing. And I just walked off it, and then for the rest of the game, could not stand on one. And I'm like, that feels like did that happen? Is that meant to happen, or is that not meant to happen? I don't know. And that's the thing. I'm like. For whenever they were around, because you know, there's that part in where you've got like you end up with like a whole.
Did you try your call outs now?
Yeah,
around it.
Yeah, they just like They did like donuts around me. they were just doing doughies around me.
Fair enough.
And that's the thing. Like they gave me my scarf power back, but I actually wanted to try and ride on one. You would sort of teleport through their tail, and I could never catch them. They were moving faster than I could. So. That was like
gotta go fast.
I was just like there were bits like that where I was just like I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen or I accidentally did a thing that I'm not supposed to do or.
And that's what I like about the mystery of the game.
Yeah, no. Again, I'm not saying that in its negative. I'm just describing what was part of my journey to you. But yeah, again, the sliding and the sort of surfing on the sand for me was where it was at in terms of. Like control and that sort of stuff. That and how surprising it was in terms of creating that sort of organic like movement with that other person that I then just sort of like we just sort of casually parted ways and did our own thing and that was the end of that. But
peace, bro.
Yeah, it was just like cool. It was actually I totally just peaced out. I was just like, oh cool, we're jumping really high. All right, I'm gonna keep playing this game now. Bye. And I totally just bailed on him. I peaced out. But that was the thing. Like after that, I didn't come across another person.
Yeah.
Through another.
The sitting there going, well, you're a dick, and didn't let you near any of it.
Maybe. But that's the thing.
Like, it's all signing out people like, guys are douche.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like maybe if I had come across more people, it probably would have been a more. So I probably got a raw end of the deal in that sense.
Yeah. I only came across one in my whole playthrough.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay. I do think that
at the very beginning
there is something special there in terms of that. But communities like that where there's that pops up all over the place, and it's fantastic when it does. Like I don't know how much of sort of Dark Souls, Bloodborne type stuff you've played, but the bow, it totally like all the sort of little communication and speech bubble stuff from Journey immediately reminds me of. The bow that people do in Dark Souls and Bloodborne before they're going to fight each other. You're just like, this like random someone will invade your game. You can't talk to them, you can't do anything, but you can do your little like gestures. and it's like bow, then the other person bows, and then you fight it out. Like that sort of stuff where it's using in-game animations to communicate with people is always cool. And I would argue that Journey because it's got such a reduced amount of that, being still able to create these organic interactions between people is fantastic. Because I mean, all you can do is let out like slightly different sounding notes and larger sort of bubbles of speech.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very cool in that sense.
You're awesome.
What else you got for us, man?
That's about it. We've covered almost all bases of
No, that's all right. I mean, there's lots we can't really talk about with something like Journey because
I mean, you don't want to get into
there's
too many
some
story spoilers.
heavier themes in there, and there's the story stuff that we don't really want to get into, especially with something as short as this. So that pretty much is all we can really say about it. But I'm sure there's many of you out there that have already played Journey, so feel free to sound off in the comments and let us know what you thought of it on whatever sort of level you want. Nice entry level, sort of, I like this. If you want to go nice and high order, go for your life. Make sure between now and next time we put something up, like, share and subscribe. Hit us up on Twitter, PaulJamesP2, Tacos Talks, Not J, Player2 AU.
Maybe we should just make a Twitter at Not J.
At Not J. I'll check that out between now and this.
Yeah, see if it's available. If it is, maybe I'll sign it up.
And then Jay's all of a sudden on Twitter at Not J.
At Not J.
So I'm looking at our little Google Doc that states what games club games we have coming up, and I see that next month is yours, Jay, and I'm seeing no game. What have you got for us?
So there's been a lot of deliberation on this one. I've decided on Super Metroid.
Nice.
The
two of you have played it.
I wanted it to.
I've played bits of it.
So you've never played it start to finish?
No.
Oh, fantastic. See, that was one of the reasons why I was holding it back. I wanted it to be a Metroidvania, and I was tossing up between this
So
or...
to hell with the Vania, let's go Metroid.
Well, I mean, Metroid... that's the thing. So the whole Metroidvania aspect only came from Symphony of the Night. So it was either going to be Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night. Yeah. But I mean,
And I think
Metroid...
you'll drop that off at some point.
Metroid, yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's a fantastic game. But again, that's got a bit more grindy stuff in it, whereas Super Metroid doesn't. And I figure that's probably the purest experience that you can get from a Metroidvania, where you don't have to grind for the coolest sword that drops 1% of the time from an enemy that's really annoying to kill. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Well,
so
there we go. Next month, Super Metroid.
Metroid.
Finally, I tick a game that's been sitting on my
Shame
shame
list.
list for a long, long time.
So thumbs up or thumbs down for Journey? You didn't.
Well, I gave it a 10 out of 10 years ago. So
I'm gonna give it the old Romans. I'm gonna give it.
Yeah, the old Ravens. It's alright. Definitely a thumbs up. There's no need for a sequel because that basement, that basement studio, that game studio does not.
They're busy working on something, but,
But they don't need to do sequels. I mean, like other games.
Well, no,
check them out. Check out Flower. That
they've
was an
done
amazing
Flower, they've done Flow.
Yeah.
I have no idea what else they've done, if anything else.
Yeah.
But like I said, the team has fragmented a little bit, so Abzu is out by the time you're watching this, and from all reports in terms of previews and stuff, seems to feel quite similar to that of Journey. Might be worth checking out. Certainly by the time you next see me talking about games, I've probably already played it. So I'll let you know. But that's about it. So until next week's episode, we'll see you later.
Have a wonderful time.
Mothball.